There's something I see all the time with riders. At home, they ride beautifully, soft, flowing, natural. They see strides, they trust decisions, they ride instinctively. Then competition day arrives, and suddenly it feels like they've become a completely different rider. Everything feels harder, more emotional, more mentally noisy. And most riders assume, I need more confidence. But honestly, I don't think confidence is actually the main problem for many riders anymore. I think the real issue is emotional control under pressure. Because when emotions start driving your riding instead of supporting your riding, everything changes. And today, I want to talk about why that happens. Because if you've ever mentally spiraled after one mistake, overthought an entire round, lost confidence after one bad day, ridden emotionally instead of strategically, this video could genuinely help you. One of the biggest mistakes riders make is thinking riding is purely technical. It isn't. Riding is neurological, emotional, physiological. Your nervous system affects everything. The moment pressure appears, your brain changes state. Your breathing changes. Muscle tension changes. Decision making changes. Focus changes. And suddenly, the horse that felt amazing at home now feels completely different. But often, the horse hasn't changed nearly as much as your internal state has changed. That's incredibly important to understand because many riders are not struggling due to lack of skill. They're struggling because pressure changes how they access their skill. That's a huge distinction. Let's talk about emotional riding. Emotional riding is when emotions start dictating decisions. You panic after one mistake. You chase strides emotionally. You lose trust quickly. You ride tighter, faster, more reactive. And the difficult part is, most riders don't even realize it's happening because emotionally riding feels normal when pressure is high. But emotional riding creates inconsistency because emotions fluctuate constantly. Some days you feel amazing, some days you don't. And if your riding is dependent on emotionally feeling confident all the time, your performance becomes unstable. That's why emotionally resilient riders often outperform emotionally reactive riders. Not because they never feel pressure, but because they regulate pressure differently. This is something I really want riders to understand. Overthinking is usually not weakness. It's usually the brain trying to create certainty. Your nervous system is essentially saying, please, can we control absolutely everything so nothing goes wrong? And that's why riders analyze every stride, replay mistakes repeatedly, obsess over details, mentally spiral after rounds. The brain is desperately trying to feel safe. But unfortunately, too much thinking disconnects riders from feel. And riding is a feel based sport. The more emotionally overloaded riders become, the harder it becomes to access instinctive performance. That's why emotional regulation matters so much. Another huge issue in equestrian sport is emotional punishment. So many riders believe if I'm hard on myself, I'll improve quicker. But emotionally punishing yourself usually creates tension, hesitation, fear, pressure, nervous system overload, not better riding. And honestly, some riders carry rounds emotionally for days. One bad ride becomes self-criticism, catastrophizing, questioning ability, loss of confidence, and eventually they stop trusting themselves. Now, obviously, accountability matters. Reflection matters. But there's a massive difference between strategic reflection and emotional self-destruction. One improves performance, one destroys it. And riders desperately need to hear this. You don't need to suffer emotionally in order to improve. The riders who perform consistently under pressure are not emotionally perfect. They're emotionally skilled. That's different. Mentally resilient riders expect emotions, regulate emotions, recover quickly, stay process focused, stop catastrophizing mistakes, and perhaps most importantly, they don't treat nerves like an emergency. That changes everything. Because once riders stop fighting emotions, they can start regulating them. That's where calmness comes from. Not from eliminating pressure, but from learning how to function within pressure. Let me give you something practical now. A simple emotional reset process, especially useful before competing or after mistakes. Step 1. Pause the spiral. Notice what your brain is doing. Don't instantly believe every emotional thought. Observe first. Step 2. Regulate physically. Slow your breathing. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Soften your hands. Your body massively affects your emotional state. Step 3. Narrow focus. Emotionally overwhelmed riders focus on everything. Bring attention back to rhythm, breathing, line, one fence, one movement. Step 4. Return to process. Ask, what do I need to do right now? Not, what if everything goes wrong? That shift is enormous. I really want you to remember this. You don't need to become fearless to ride well. You don't need perfect confidence all the time. You don't need to emotionally feel amazing before every competition. What you need is emotional stability under pressure. Because confidence based purely on emotion will fluctuate. But emotional skills, they can become incredibly stable. And honestly, that's where real confidence starts coming from. Not from perfect rounds, but from trusting yourself to handle imperfect moments. That changes everything. Now, if this video resonated with you and you recognize yourself as someone who overthinks, mentally spirals, loses confidence quickly, struggles emotionally after mistakes, then I'd really encourage you to download my free Rider Confidence Tracker. It is specifically designed to help riders stop reflecting emotionally and start reflecting strategically. The link is below in the description. And if you want help building emotional consistency and confidence under pressure, feel free to message me about one-to-one coaching as well. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with another rider who needs it, and come and join us inside the Neil Foster Rider Mindset Podcast Facebook group too. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you don't need more confidence. You need more emotional control.